Hi friends, so we continue with our series of discussing some concept or comprehensive questions. Today I'm discussing a question from your Jan 25 MTP series 2 and this is in cost accounting. So today I'm discussing a costing question. It is on service costing, a very well drafted question by ICI, case scenario 1. Let's first go through the question. A truck driver named Raju owns a truck which can carry 5 ton of material at a time. So the capacities, it can carry 5 tons of material at a time. Raju has no other truck. He has listed himself with various carriage services agency to offer his services. He gets his work from these agencies and they pay as per the load and the distance. So it is basically payment as per the weight and the distance, which is what normally happens. Raju has one condition that he must be at least paid for at least 75% of his total capacity. Capacity is 5 tons. He should be paid at least for 75% of the capacity. Basically means whether I carry goods or I don't carry goods, I want minimum payment for 3.75 tons. Minimum 3. If it's more, I'll charge more. But minimum I want to charge is for 3.75 tons. He's charging 10 per ton kilometer. 10 per ton kilometer. He has received a work contract from one of these agencies where he has taken where he has to take 4 ton from Delhi in the morning, drop it in the Chandigarh, 4 tons, minimum 3.75. After that, he'll move to Ludhiana. He'll move to Ludhiana where he again loads 3 tons and come back to Delhi by evening. The contract is for nearly 3 months. The contract is for nearly 3 months. The contract terms are, it is like this. Delhi, from Delhi, I have to move to Chandigarh. I'll be carrying 4 tons. From Chandigarh, I'll move to Ludhiana. Nothing is mentioned, so I carry 0 tons. And from Ludhiana, it says after that he'll move to Ludhiana where he again loads. In Ludhiana, he will load 3 tons and come back. This is what I have to do. Start from Delhi, carry 4 tons. From Chandigarh to Ludhiana, carry no weight. We are going to charge for minimum 3.75 tons. And Ludhiana to Delhi will be 3 tons. Raju is excited to accept the order, but it's not physically possible for Raju to complete this project alone. He decides to hire a helper come driver who will help in him this work contract. So he got a 3-month contract. He is going to hire one person who will be paid 15,000 per month. 15,000 per month. The contract will start from 15th June and will run till 14th September. So from 15th June till 14th September. Throughout this time period, there are only 2 holidays, both falling in August. So in June, starting from 15th to June, so 15 till 30th will be 16 days. July will be 31 days. August will be only 29 days because 2 holidays are there. There are 2 holidays, and September 14 days are there. Some more information. Truck was purchased on 1st April 2021 by taking a loan of 20 lakh at 10%. He has mortgages jewelry. Every year end, I have to pay 527, 595 as installment. I took a loan on 1st April 2021 for a period of 5 years. And the loan amount is 20 lakh rupee. I pay an installment of 527, 595. Scrap value is 5 lakh. Depreciation SLM method. Services and maintenance charge per month is 80,000. So for the contract is 80,000 to 3. And diesel cost is 8 kilometer per liter. Unfortunately, I have to do June separately, July separately, August separately, September separately because the cost is different. Yearly interest amount of loan and depreciation is charged on the basis of days worked in a year in the contract. So based on number of days worked, whatever annual depreciation is there, I apportion to this contract. Distance between Delhi to Chandigarh, 250 kilometer. Then Chandigarh to Ludhiana, 100 kilometer. And then from Ludhiana to Delhi, 150 kilometer. Delhi to Chandigarh, 250 kilometer. Chandigarh to Ludhiana, 100 kilometer. and Ludhiana to Delhi 150 kilometer. 250 kilometer will carry 4 tons, 100 kilometer will carry 0 tons, 150 kilometer will carry 3 tons, and there's a minimum condition of 75%. What will be the amount of profit Raju would have earned if he had no minimum charges limit, no minimum charges limit of 75% on absolute ton kilometer basis, on absolute ton kilometer basis, and whenever the vehicle is running empty, because in absolute ton kilometer, if vehicle is running empty, it will be 0 kilometer, it will be 0 ton kilometer. You will get charge only for diesel expenses. You would charge only for diesel expenses. So for the Chandigarh to Ludhiana, whatever diesel expenses are incurred, I'll be reimbursed. I'll be reimbursed fully because the ton kilometer here will be zero and minimum condition is not there. That's part one. Part two, if payment was made on commercial ton kilometer basis and no minimum charges limit, what would have been lost? He has a minimum charge limit, but they're saying if there was no minimum charge limit, what will be lost on commercial ton kilometer basis? Then minimum amount to be charged on the basis of absolute ton kilometer if I want to earn a profit of 2,70,000. Absolute ton kilometer if I want to earn a profit of 2,70,000. Calculate the amount of depreciation and interest. This is very important question because in this question it's easy to calculate depreciation, little time consuming to calculate something called as your interest, little time consuming to calculate interest. So I will calculate depreciation and copy from the option for the interest. This is one of the technique which we can do in MCQ. So I'll calculate interest also, but it is a time consuming exercise. Only depreciation is sufficient. And what is the profit as per the current rate charged by Raju? Use absolute ton kilometer basis. So we'll first do 4 calculation. Absolute ton kilometer with minimum condition, without minimum condition, commercial ton kilometer with minimum condition, without minimum condition. First, let's get these 4 numbers and then we'll calculate all expenses. In that, interest and depreciation will come, and then we'll start answering whatever one by one. One by one. It's a very comprehensive question. Comprehensive question. Let's first calculate absolute ton kilometer, commercial ton kilometer with minimum condition, without minimum condition, without minimum condition. Now, first is absolute ton kilometer without minimum condition is 250 into 4 plus 100 into 0 plus 150 into 3. 150 into 3 whole multiplied with the number of days. Whole multiplied with the number of days. Absolute ton kilometer is exact distance into exact quantity. 250 kilometers into 4 tons plus 100 kilometers into 0 tons plus 150 kilometers into 3 tons whole multiplied with number of days. So working note 1, computation of absolute ton kilometer and commercial ton kilometer. First is number of days of operation. Number of days of operation. Number of days of operation. We are going to operate for starting from June 15. In June from 15th June till 30th June is 16 days. Number of days of operation June, right, 16. June is 16. July is going to be 31. August 29 because 2 days holidays are there. 2 days holidays in August and September 14. September 14. All put together 16 plus 31, 47 plus 99, 90 days. 90 days. Absolute ton kilometer without minimum limit. Without minimum limit. Without minimum limit. Without minimum limit is very simple. 250 into 4 plus 0 into 100 plus 150 into 3. 250 into 4 plus 0 into 100 plus 150 into 3. There's no minimum condition. 250 kilometer into 4 tons plus 100 kilometer into 0 tons plus 150 kilometer into 3 tons, whole multiplied with 90 days. Whole multiplied with 90 days. This is without minimum limit. But they have a minimum limit. I'll come to that in a minute. 250 into 4, 100 into 0, 150 into 3, whole multiplied with 90. 1,30,500 ton kilometer. 1,30,500 ton kilometer. This is without minimum limit. When minimum limit condition is not there, I will earn 1,30,500 kilometer. There are certain parts of the question talking about this. Then absolute ton kilometer with minimum limit. With minimum limit. Minimum limit is very simple. 5 into 75%. 5 tons into, so 3.75. And again here also 3.75. Two places 3.75. Two places 3.75. Two places 3.75. 250 into 4, 100 into 3.75, 150 into 3.75. Minimum 3.75 I'll charge. In this case, it is going to be 250 into 4, 100 into 3.75, 150 into 3.75 multiplied with 90, 174, 375 ton kilometer. 174, 375 ton kilometer. Commercial ton kilometer is total distance into average quantity. One is without minimum limit. Second is with minimum limit. One is without minimum limit is whatever is average. With minimum limit, whatever is the average, or 3.75, 3.75, which is the minimum condition. All this calculation will understand why we are doing in some time. Commercial ton kilometer without minimum limit. Without minimum limit. 500 kilometers into average is 4 plus 0 plus 3. 4 plus 0 average load. Total distance into average load. Total distance into average load. Total distance into average load. 4 plus 0 plus 3. 7 by 3 multiplied with 90 days. Multiplied with 90 days. 1 lakh 5,000 ton kilometer. 1 lakh 5,000 ton kilometer. Commercial ton kilometer. 7 by 3. What is with minimum limit? In place of 7 by 3, I'll write 3.75. Minimum 3.75 billing. Minimum 3.75 billing. Minimum 3.75 billing. Very good question. Very well drafted by ICI. Very well drafted. No errors also in the question. With minimum limit. With minimum limit. In place of 7 by 3, 3.75. In place of 7 by 3, 3.75. 3.75. 3.75. 3.75. 168 750 ton kilometer. 168 750 ton kilometer. This is the backup basic calculation I want in order to solve the question. So my revenue potential is going to depend on these four numbers: 130 500 absolute ton kilometer, 174 375 absolute ton kilometer, 1 lakh 5,000 commercial ton kilometer, 168 750 commercial ton kilometer. This is one major calculation. Second calculation is cost calculation, which diesel and all will take time. Interest will take some time. Any doubts on this? Let me know. Any doubts on these four items? Then working note 2, operating cost statement. Operating cost statement. I'll not do variable, fixed and all. We'll directly keep writing the cost. Particulars calculation amount. Operating cost statement. First is I have a helper who is going to be paid 15,000 per month. Helper you have to pay 15,000 per month. 15,000. 3 months is the contract. 3 months is the contract. Helper charges. Helper charges 15,000 into 3. Helper charges 15,000 into 3. I will calculate depreciation first. Using depreciation, I can tell you what is the interest, because the question number 4 has depreciation and interest requirement. We'll first do depreciation calculation. Depreciation calculation. Interest, I can take it from here. In class, here I'll explain the workings. Depreciation. Depreciation for a year. For a year is 20 lakh minus 5 lakh. 15 divide by 10 years, 1 lakh 50. Annual depreciation is 1 lakh 50. 90 days contract. Depreciation is charged on the basis of number of days worked on a contract. It says yearly interest and depreciation is charged on the basis of days worked in a year. Days worked is 90. 1 lakh 50,000 into 90 by 365. 1 lakh 50,000. 15 lakh. 20 lakh minus 5 lakh divided by 10 years yearly depreciation into 90 by 365. So depreciation 1 lakh 50,000 into 90 by 365. Interest cost, I'll do calculation later. That's where smartness comes into play. I will copy paste from here. If depreciation is 36,986, interest has to be 22,578. Interest has to be 22,578. And assumption is interest is non-equity in nature. If it's non-equity in nature, it is considered in the calculation. That's what we normally take in operating costing. Interest is 22,578. I'll explain the workings in some time. I'll explain the workings in some time for interest. Just to save time from an exam point of view, we'll directly copy paste interest. Interest calculation will take away maybe around 3-4 minutes. So depreciation done, interest done, service and maintenance. Service and maintenance. Service and maintenance 80,000 to 3. 80,000 into 3, 2 lakh 40. 80,000 into 3, 2 lakh 40. Then comes the diesel cost for June, July, August, September. Separate calculation. Per day we are going to travel for 250, 350, 500 kilometers. In that, Ludhiana to Chandigarh is a free travel where I don't carry any weight. It will have some implication later on. 500 kilometer I'm going to travel on a daily basis. Diesel June, July, August, September. 4 months. June, July, August, and September. 500 June 16 days. June 16 days. 500 July 31 days. 500 kilometer. I have to do extra calculation. August 29 days. September 14 days. This many kilometers we're going every day 500 kilometer into 80.3, mileage is 8. Every liter will give you 8 kilometers into 80.5 by 8 into 81.25 by 8 into 80.9 by 8. 500 into 16 into 80.3 by 8. 500 into 31 into 80.5 by 8. 529. Lot of calculation, can't help it. 81.25 by 8. 500 into 14 into 80.9 by 8. All put together some 4,54,000 rupees. 4,54,000 rupees. This will help us in doing some other analysis later. So I think we are ready to start now. Total cost. Total cost 798,887. Now I can start answering. Only one calculation which I have not explained is the interest cost, which I don't need. I'll explain the calculation a little later. I have copy pasted from the solution. 798,887. First requirement. What will be the profit you would have earned if there is no minimum charge limit, and I am going to charge on absolute ton kilometer basis. I'm going to charge, and if the vehicle runs empty, he would only charge for diesel. That is, I'll get the recovery for the diesel expenses. Minimum limit is not there. They're saying in case there is no minimum limit, you're going to charge on absolute ton kilometer basis. So your income is without minimum limit. This is your income. 1,30,500 into 10 rupees. 1,30,500 into 10 rupees is your income. 1,30,500 into 10 rupees is your income. But I Delhi to Ludhiana to Chandigarh, when I don't carry any weight, I will get reimbursement for diesel expenses. 250 kilometer, 150, 400 kilometer. This is 100 kilometer. So 1/5 of the travel, I don't carry any weight. So whatever diesel expenses is there, one fifth I will get free reimbursement. 1/5 I'm going to get free reimbursement of diesel expenses. Diesel expenses 1/5 reimbursement, 1/5 free reimbursement of diesel expenses. That's a part one of the question. So profit is equal to 1,30,500 into 10 plus some reimbursement minus 798,887. Reimbursement is what I'll do the calculation. 1,30,500 comes from here without minimum limit. Without minimum limit. Reimbursement is diesel expense 1/5. Diesel expense total is this, and 1/5 of this. 1/5 of this I'll get reimbursement. Hope this is clear. How do you got 1/5 this of the 500 kilometers? Ludhiana to Chandigarh. Chandigarh to Ludhiana is 100 kilometer, where you don't carry any weights. Its question is saying if the vehicle runs empty, you will charge only for diesel expenses. Minus 798,887. 596,978. So this is right. 596,977. 1 rupees rounding of difference. If payment was made on commercial ton kilometer basis and Raju had no minimum charge limit, what is the loss? Loss is very simple. If it's on commercial ton kilometer basis, so let's me go to this number. If minimum condition is there, I am going to charge for 168,750. And if minimum condition is not there, I'll charge only for 1,05,000. So the gap is 63,750 into 10 rupees. Gap is 63,750. 1,68,000 minus 1,05,000. 63,750 kilometers is the gap into 10 rupees. 63,750 into 10 rupees. This is the loss. If minimum condition is not there, my income will go down by 63.7 on commercial ton kilometer. On commercial ton kilometer, 63,750 into 10 rupees into 10 rupees. Minimum requirement helps me in getting that extra 63,750. What will be the minimum amount charged on basis of absolute ton kilometer if I want a profit of 2 lakh 70? Now there is no requirement here saying minimum requirement there or minimum requirement not. That is minimum condition, minimum kilometer there or not. Originally question is very clear that I will charge for a minimum 75%. So part 1 alone without minimum we did, part 2 without minimum and with minimum comparison. Now onwards all with minimum on absolute ton kilometer basis. So minimum amount is equal to revenue cost plus profit. Revenues cost plus profit. Cost we have already calculated 798 887. Profit I need is 2 lakh 70, and this will be divided by absolute kilometer with minimum limit with minimum limit with minimum limit with minimum limit 174 375 174 375. Cost plus profit is my collection divided by 174 375 divided by 174 375. So cost plus profit divided by 174 375, approximately 6.13 6.13. Part 4 is already done. This is what we used to answer the interest part. This is what we have used to answer the interest part. And what is the profit if I go by absolute ton kilometer? Profit is whatever you wrote here, no minimum condition, sorry, no reimbursement of diesel and all. You will charge for 174 375. You will charge for 174 375. You will charge for 174 375. So profit is equal to 944 863. 944 863. Excellent question. Interest part I'll explain that surely. So first we did number of days of operation, absolute ton kilometer without minimum limit to answer part 1 of the question, with minimum limit to answer part 3 and part 5 of the question, commercial ton kilometer without and with minimum to answer part 2 of the question. Then we did a cost statement. In that diesel, I divided by 1 by 5. I will get reimbursement of this in case I am charging without minimum limit. How do I calculate interest? For interest, it's like this: period, opening balance, interest, installment, closing balance. We have to do a statement like this: period, opening balance, interest, installment, and closing balance. If you do the statement, you will get the interest expense. So it's a very lengthy calculation. He took the loan on April 2021. In April 2021, so April 2021, March 2022, opening balance is 20 lakh, interest is 10%. We pay installment of 527,595. Closing balance is opening plus interest, deduct the installment. Deduct the installment. This is so interest for April 2021 to March 22. I don't need this. I need for my time period. Then April 2022 to March 2023. Opening balance is 1672. Interest 10%. 16721. Installment. Closing balance same formula. Opening plus interest minus the installment. Then April 2023 to March 2024. Our contract is from 2024. So I need it for April 2024 to March 2025. Opening balance, 10% interest, installment, closing balance. Then April 2024, this number I need. March 2025. Opening balance, interest, installment, closing. Ends here, but ठीक let me close the loan. Last time period becomes zero. Becomes zero. This is how a loan repayment table will be done. A loan repayment. So interest for 365 days is 91,566. Interest for 365 days. 365 days. So for our 90-day period, interest for 90 days is this 90 by 365. 578. Is what I said. I'll copy paste from the answer itself rather than doing this table. If I am solving this paper, I will not answer this table itself. I will not try to do any of this because in MCQ I don't need this. Just calculate depreciation. Interest is automatically done. Depreciation, interest is automatically done. I hope this video is useful to you. Do comment in case you need help with any other question, and let me know if any challenges you are facing in this.